Here we will see lexical structure of C sharp. The lexical structure of C sharp defines how the source code is broken down into meaningful units called tokens. These tokens are the building blocks of C sharp program, and it includes identifiers, keywords, literals, comments, whitespace and separators. The C# compiler uses this structure to understand and process the code. First we'll see identifiers. An identifier is commonly referred as a name in programming. It can be a name of project, module, variable, object, method and so on. An identifier must confirm some naming rules. That is, it must start with a letter and it must not contain any other symbol than letters, digits and underscore. Valid identifiers are string username, then int underscore count, date time with identifier name birth date, and invalid identifiers are string 123 name since it starts with a digit, int %count since it contains invalid character, and date time with birth space date since it contains the space between birth and date. Keywords are special class identifiers. They are reserved identifiers that language itself defines and that cannot be used as an identifier. Compiler detects these keywords and highlights them in blue by default. They are used to define variables, control program flow and perform logical operations, which ensures a structured and functional code base. C# includes wide range of keywords such as if, else, for, while, float, catch, etc. Then literals. A literal is a direct representation of a specific value within a given type. C# supports various literal types including boolean, integer, floating point, string, character and date. Variables receive their value at runtime, whereas literals are assigned at compile time. For example, int age equal to 29 or string language equal to C#. Here 29 is an integer literal and C# is a string literal. Then comments. Comments are used by humans to clarify the source code. There are two types of comments, single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comments are used to comment single line. They can be written in a separate line or along with the code on the same line. And multi-line comments are used to comment more than one line. Generally it is used to comment entire block of code statements. Then whitespace. Whitespace refers to spaces, tabs and new lines used in source code. It serves two primary purposes: separating tokens from the compiler and improving code readability for developers. Whitespaces are required in certain places to distinguish keywords, identifiers and symbols. It also improves code clarity, which make it easier to read and maintain. Since it is necessary in some cases, excessive whitespaces does not affect the compilation. Whitespaces must be placed between a type declaration and its identifier, such as int value. However, it cannot be used within the keywords or variable names. That is, int my variable, that is space between my and variable, is invalid. Extra spaces between tokens are ignored by the compiler. Proper formatting enhances readability, while inconsistent spacing can make code harder to read. For example, int a equal to 1. Here no space is given before and after equal to sign, since it is valid but it is less readable. Then int b equal to 2. Here proper spacing is given before and after equal to sign. Then int c equal to 3. Here extra spaces are given before and after equal to, but it will not affect the compilation. Using consistent indentation and spacing improves the code readability. Here two examples are given for giving proper white spaces while writing the code. Although extra white spaces are ignored by the compiler, well-structured code improves maintainability and readability, which ensures a more professional and organized approach for the C# developers. Then variables. Most programs requires temporary storage of data. A variable is the name given to the storage area that program can manipulate. Variable name is an identifier which is used to identify the data. Variables must begin with a letter and can contain a series of alphanumeric and underscore. Each variable in C# has a specific type which determines the size and layout of the variable's memory, the range of values that can be stored within the memory, and set the operation that can be applied to the variable. In C#, variables should be declared first before it is used, and variables values are assigned during program execution. Since C# is case sensitive, so variable name with capital N, variable name with all small case letters and variable name with all uppercase letters are distinct variables. Then separator. A separator is a sequence of one or more characters that are used to specify the boundaries between separate independent regions in plain text or other data stream. Different separators in C# are square bracket, parenthesis, curly braces, comma, colon, semicolon, and double quote. The double quote characters are used to mark the beginning and end of a string. String language equal to C# enclosed within double quote. Here string variable language is defined and assign value C# to it. Semicolon character is used to end each C# statement. Parentheses are used to mark the method signature. The signature consists of method parameters. Console.writeLine, which is used to print the value on the string. Then square brackets are used to denote an array type. They are also used to access or modify array elements. Int square bracket array equal to new int 5. Here array is declared with integer type and values are assigned to it. Here curly brackets are used to denote the evaluated value. They are also used to initiate the arrays. Curly brackets are also used in variable interpolation or to enclose the body of a method or a class. Then int a, b, c with semicolon. Here the comma character can be used to use multiple declaration on the same line of code. Then conventions. Conventions are recommended practices for writing consistent and readable C# code. While not enforced by the compiler, they improve code maintainability and collaboration. Some of the conventions in C# are Pascal case for identifiers, that is classes, methods and properties start with an uppercase letter. Interface name starts with I. Comments are placed on separate lines for clarity, not at the end of the code line. Then avoid multiple statements on a single line. Use descriptive identifiers like customer name instead of CN. Define constants in uppercase with underscore. Place opening and closing curly braces on a new line for code blocks. Name the string array parameter as args with main method. Place public before static in declaration and use 4-space indentation for nested code and match the file name to the main class name. For example, program.cs for program class.